member here.
Let me welcome everybody back. Not too late in January, I think, to say Happy New Year to everyone, and to say that we look forward to a very, very productive year with a very, very active Rules Committee. And in that light, I want to welcome back the continuing members, but I especially want to welcome our, quote, newest member, and that is Senator Bob Dutton, who served on the Rules Committee prior to being elected the Republican leader in the Senate, and now is back. And we're very, very glad to have you, Senator Dutton. As long you know, just in case you forgot, as long as you vote with the chair, it's a very easy job. It's there we go. So a quorum has been established. We do have 3 governor's appointees appearing today, and we will go in agenda order here and begin with Carla Peterman as a member of the State Energy Resources Conservation and Development Commission, and welcome you up to the witness table and say good afternoon to you. We have a tradition of the Rules Committee, of course, is to give you the opportunity to introduce any member of your family or close friend who is here with you today. Ask you to make a brief opening statement, and then we will commence questions. Yes. But make sure the mic is as close to you as possible. There you go.
Yes. Hello. Happy New Year. Chair and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to come before you and seek confirmation as a California Energy Commissioner. I'm honored to be appointed by Governor Brown and humbled to be in public service at this pivotal time. I would first like to introduce my parents, Carl and Phyllis Peterman, who have come from New Jersey to be with us today.
From New Jersey, welcome to you.
With lifelong careers in insurance and social work education, my parents instilled in me the need to engage in long-term planning in order to protect people and the environment. Also with me is my aunt, Orgie Irwin, a lifelong Californian whose love of the state hastened my move here 7 years ago. As the Commission's public member, I am earnestly working to maximize the value of energy investments for Californians and to ensure that the state's energy resources are safe, environmentally friendly, and reliable. It is my intention that the investments and planning made over the length of my term will strengthen the foundation necessary for reaching the state's energy goals in 2020 and beyond. The key question I will constantly ask myself throughout my term is, are our decisions prudent, responsible, and meet the expectations of the people we are serving? Since its inception, the Energy Commission has been dedicated to ensuring a reliable supply of energy to meet the state's needs while protecting public health, safety, and the environment. With the Warren-Alquist Act at its core, the Commission permits power plants, designates transmission corridors, assesses current and future energy demand and resources, develops energy efficiency standards, and stimulates the research and development of alternative, cleaner transportation fuels and electricity. Over the last year, I've had the opportunity to work on a range of Commission programs, including those related to renewables, electricity and natural gas, transportation, siting cases, and the Integrated Energy Policy Report. I have demonstrated my focus on maximizing value for Californians by working with the Commission over the last year to strengthen the economic and consumer protection frameworks of its key renewable programs. In addition, the implementation of landmark RPS legislation, SB X12, has been and remains a top priority for me at the Commission. My professional and educational background in energy generation, renewable technologies, financial markets, policy, and civic engagement have prepared me for this opportunity. My academic training in energy economics allows me to evaluate the myriad of energy policies that seek to promote renewable energy. My experience as an investment banker financing utilities and generation projects constantly remind me of the real-world challenges businesses faced when investing in new infrastructure. In addition, my work on workforce training for at-risk youth for a nonprofit New Jersey enlightened me to emerging clean job opportunities. And my involvement on the board of TURN, the Utility Reform Network, gave me a front-row seat to consumer protection concerns. In short, Senators, my commitment to regulation in the public interest, maximizing value, working towards consensus decision-making, and sound energy and economic research fit well with the direction of the state and the Energy Commission. The Commission continues to work through a number of challenges, and I appreciate the extensive dialogue I've had to date with members on the legislature on how the Commission can improve. Going forward, constant communication with the legislature and stakeholders will be key to improving the Commission's effectiveness. I will continue to promote efforts to finish the distribution of ARRA funding, cite large-scale generation, promote and fund high-priority energy efficiency, research, transportation, and power, as well as develop the Commission's analytical capabilities necessary for the 21st century grid. I embrace the collaborative, transparent, timely, and thoughtful action necessary to accomplish these tasks and look forward to furthering a responsible, clean energy agenda for the state of California. Thank you once again for this opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterman. I know I have a series of questions, but let us begin with Senator Ahlquist, and we'll go around the horn.
Thank you, Pro Tem. First of all, let me welcome your parents and your aunt. It's no small trip to come from New Jersey. Having had a significant meeting with your daughter the other day, I know you must be most proud of her and her accomplishments. And I do have some questions. Beginning, of course, laying the groundwork with SB 1368, which established emission performance standards for communities and limited the long-term investments to baseload generation. And, of course, the Commission has a monitoring role under SB 1368. In reading your responses, I noted that as an intern to the CPUC, you worked on a predecessor of SB 1368 and that you have high regard for SB 1368. I have Silicon Valley Power in my district. In fact, I live in the city of Santa Clara and have great interest in the implementation of SB 1368. So my first question is, how is the Commission working with munis and load-serving entities to ensure their needs are met?
Thank you, Senator Ahlquist, for the question. The Commission is working well with the public utilities to make sure their needs are met and that they're in compliance with SB 1368. We've received 8 filings for compliance, and all have been compliant with the statute. Staff has received questions about emissions performance standard requirements to replace out-of-state coal generation. We expect there'll be more applications for compliance in the next 5 years as this generation is replaced. Generally, in terms of how public utilities are doing in terms of energy efficiency and renewables, on average and overall, they're progressing well. In particular, you mentioned Silicon Valley, and I believe 26% of their generation comes from renewables, which is higher than the current target. And so we're seeing some success, and there's still a lot of work to be done to get to the 33.
Okay. I think you've already answered the second question in your first answer, which was how would you characterize munis' renewable energy investments? How about energy efficiency, and are they doing a good job?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think that the munis are doing well in terms of advancing in terms of renewables and energy efficiency. We've seen continued investment in energy efficiency by the public utilities, even with the economic downturn. The small public utilities in particular have invested more money and have gone 100% beyond their immediate near-term targets.
Thank you. My last question. First, with a little preface. The Warren-Ahlquist Act, and no, it was not me, authored by my late husband, my dear late husband, Alfred E. Ahlquist, established a series of policies to promote energy diversity, energy efficiency, and less dependency on fossil fuels. And this was truly amazing and revolutionary, given that this was done in the 1970s that he created this. Yet today, nearly 40 years later, these policies are still very much in the mainstream of energy policy. And we are ranked #1 in the world for clean energy, and it's being the economic hub of renewable energy. So my question to you is, what do you see as the revolutionary energy policies of the next 40 years, and how will you ensure, since you will be around for a while, the Commission continues the legacy of the Warren-Alquist Act?
Well, Senator, first I'll say that I think the Warren-Alquist Act is as relevant today as it was 40 years ago. There is still an essential role for government to supply safe and reliable power that's consistent with environmental quality and a sound economy. In terms of what I see as some of the revolutionary steps to happen within this sector, one is the scaling of renewables and low-carbon energy sources so they can make up the majority of our supply. In 40 years, we'll be approaching 2050 and AB 32's 2050 goals, and we'll need a decarbonized electricity sector to get there. Another revolutionary breakthrough, I think, in this sector will be upgrading the grid to support these new types of generations and developing a grid that's more reliable and smart and consumer responsive. And how the Commission will continue to preserve the legacy of the Warren-Alquist Act is to work on improving our implementation of the Act. One area I'm particularly involved in is that I'm lead on the 2012 IPER, which provides a rich source of data and information on the energy system now and going forward. One of my goals for the 2012 IPER is to make sure that it contains information that's important and relevant to the legislature, that it can be utilized by the legislature, the administration, and stakeholders, and provide a good insight into where we need to be going next. In addition, I think the Commission needs to continue working on improving its siting process to make sure that we are a siting generation and minimizing the environmental impacts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you, Senator. Senator Fuller.
Well, first, I just want to say that I've really enjoyed my visit and interviews with Carla, and I appreciate everything that her experience is, but especially her Oxford University graduate experience that we share.
We share that in common, yes.
Once we got to that topic, we kind of lost a little time. But the one question I would like you to expand on today is, how do you see your role of integrating or smoothing, perhaps, the needs of the military installations and the renewable energy installation siting? As you know, my area has 5 bases, and it's beginning to be a little more crowded out there.
The Commission strives to work collaboratively well with our federal partners as well as our local partners, and the military is both a local and federal partner. As you all might be aware, the military maintains a number of bases and training grounds in California, and the Commission has engaged in active communication with the military to make sure that as we recommend projects for siting, renewable projects, that they don't interfere with the training space and operations of the military. I had the opportunity myself to visit Camp Pendleton recently and was impressed with the number of renewable generation projects they have there. The military is particularly conscious of the need to be efficient and conserve resources, and I look forward to continued partnerships with them.
Thank you. Ms. Peterman, a couple areas of inquiry that I'd like to explore with you. As you know, at the end of the last legislative session, unfortunately, the legislature was not able to pass, unfortunately in my view, an extension of the PURE program. And so as a result, the Public Utilities Commission has administratively established an electrical program investment charge, EPIC, picking up some parts of that public goods charge, intending to create some funding source for energy-related research. And all of it begs a question for me, which I think has been asked for years, and that is whether or not within our state government there is sufficient coordination between the various entities responsible for energy, and specifically energy research. I'd like to please hear your opinion on that and whether you have any specific policy recommendations as to how we can ensure that we have a easily understood state energy policy. And let's stipulate that most members of the legislature have a hard time in some ways understanding how all those pieces fit together, much less the members of the public. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
I think there is significant coordination amongst the various state agencies and the legislature on research, and I've appreciated the conversations I've had with colleagues at the Public Utilities Commission, the California ISO, the Air Resources Board, and the legislature on the research we're engaged in. There's always room for more coordination, however, and I think it's important to evaluate our various research programs and make sure they're not duplicative. To prioritize areas of research to make sure we're focusing on areas that are most important to the state in the near term.
What are your priorities for research?
My priorities for research include focusing on commercialization of technologies that will allow for better integration of renewables into the grid, particularly smart grid technologies. The more advanced we can make some of these technologies, the more benefits we'll bring to our state. So that's where my primary focus would be. I would also focus on improving the forecasting of renewables in order to reduce their intermittency.
Okay, you mentioned in your opening statement that you have some background in education-related matters. Can you state that again in terms
Sure.
of what you're...
I worked at a nonprofit in New Jersey called ISLES, and part of what ISLES did is train at-risk youth, students who had not graduated from high school in careers, and their primary training was in construction. But ISLES saw the opportunity to expand beyond construction and think about some opportunities in the clean tech space. I was hired there to explore different clean energy job tracks, and in particular I focused on opportunities related to an environmentally friendly paint business. And so I was able to witness firsthand the value that career and high school education can have for at-risk youth, and I'm happy to support initiatives in this state to do the same.
You've been well briefed because you know this is a priority of the chair.
I try to keep. I try to stay informed.
Which is a good. Which you get points for that. But let me. On a serious note, last year we worked together with Secretary Laird and Commissioner Weisenmiller to try to take several $1 million of alternative energy money and fund green high school career academies. And I have an opinion about the success of our work together on that, but I'd like to hear yours in terms of whether or not you have assessed the success of that partnership thus far, and whether you're satisfied that the Energy Commission is on top of ensuring that part of your mission is to help create career pathways for young people in the alternative energy field.
Well, I'm very happy with the collaboration the Energy Commission has had with the California Department of Education to develop the training curriculum and guidelines for the SBX 11 Partnership Academies. We adopted those guidelines at the Commission last month, and we look forward to making sure that they continue to be in line with the opportunities that are out there. It's my understanding that this year 21 Partnership Academies will be funded, and I was pleased to see in the proposed governor's budget continued funding for the Partnership Academies. I think the Commission is dedicated to training the next workforce to participate in a clean energy economy. Previously, we funded $12 million for the Department of Education Partnership Academies. 55 were established. We also maintain online training tools for middle and high school teachers to continue to educate students about energy. So it is an issue that is top of mind for myself and fellow commissioners, and we're excited to continue working on the issue.
Very good. Thank you. Senator Dutton.
Yeah, hi there. How are you?
Hello, Senator.
Just a couple of questions. You're certainly very well qualified, and I do plan to support you, but I would like your input on a couple of issues. In your opening statement, you made a comment that the key to the transition regarding 33% renewable must be economically, technologically, and environmentally sustainable. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm kind of concerned about the economic realities of it. And so could you kind of elaborate a little bit on that? Because I'm concerned now that, right, from what I'm being told by some of our public utility agencies, that our energy costs are, from an industrial, commercial standpoint, are some of the highest in the nation. And right now our citizens are paying almost the 7th or 6th highest in the country. And yet we happen to be probably one of the most energy efficient states in the entire nation. So how are you going to, the economic part of it, I'm kind of curious about.
Yep. Well, as the state moves to try to reach its environmental and climate change goals, I think it is important to think about the impact to rates from our investments. In the upcoming IPER cycle, we will be evaluating the total cost of renewables as well as the total benefits. Renewable energy has brought jobs to this state. We've seen jobs develop both through the construction of renewable facilities as well as the installation of energy efficiency. I think it is important to continue to monitor our programs to make sure that they're affordable, and I continue to work with the utilities, both public and investor-owned, on our programs to make sure they think they're affordable.
What about long-term jobs, though, because the construction jobs associated with building facilities and stuff are short-term. Mm-hmm. In order to actually have sustained economic, growth, you need to have permanent jobs created. And so I acknowledge the fact that there are some jobs that are being created by energy companies that are starting up, but they can't sustain themselves if it's dependent strictly on government intervention and creating demand through their regulatory climate. Somehow you're going to have it evolve into a free market-based type system. So I'm curious about the sacrifice or what we're doing right now. Not so much, it's not about the companies that decide to run off to China or someplace, but I am concerned about companies that run off to Texas, North Carolina, other states because of high energy costs as being one of the factors. How do I balance that? Because I've got to have those permanent jobs in order to really help people and grow the California economy. At least that's the way I kind of look at it. So.
I'm supportive of incentivizing industry so they can move towards being self-sustaining, and that is the ultimate goal. And when we think about long-term jobs, some of those jobs will be in the manufacturing sector. We've gotten positive feedback about our AB 118 transportation program and the development of long-term jobs in addition to the short-term. That program, for example, we've heard from respondents that 2,000 long-term jobs will be developed in addition to the 1,600 short-term jobs. Also, a part of our energy program is energy efficiency. And when you fund energy efficiency, you provide opportunities for companies to pay less for energy because they're using less. And every dollar not spent on energy is a dollar available for additional discretionary income.
Okay. Then my final question has to do with something that just was asked of me, and I didn't know the answer, so I was going to ask you about. It has to do with the biomethane reclassification into, I guess it's as a bucket 3 resource for purposes of RPS eligibility. And the concern would be, first of all, do you think that the CEC has the power to make such determination without authority of the legislature? And also, do you believe that should the reclassification, do you think the Commission not only has the authority to make it, but also what's your thoughts on it in general? So.
Biomethane, I think, is a valuable renewable resource. It's RPS eligible and can help utilities attain diversified renewable portfolios. I appreciate that the Commission has received letters from Senator DeLeon and Senator Fuller on this issue. In particular, Senator DeLeon brought up the point in his letter, the same concern that you've raised, Senator Dutton, about whether the Energy Commission is considering reclassifying this to as a bucket 3. That is not in particular the focus of the commission. The legislation, I think, is pretty clear on what qualifies for each bucket, and the focus in the legislation is on generating facilities. Here we're talking about the fuel and not the generating facility. California does have substantial biomethane potential, and I'm supportive of its development. My concern with biomethane, as with any renewable resource, is making sure that the environmental benefits are additional and that we're able to accurately account for the benefits and the energy. I've appreciated the engagement we've had with the legislature and stakeholders on these issues going forward. The Commission is gathering information, and we welcome all further input.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Senator Dutton. Senator DeLeon?
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Carla, I enjoyed our meeting that we had just recently downtown Los Angeles, I think in the month of December.
Yes.
I've reviewed your academic background, and to say the least, it's absolutely impeccable and extremely impressive. Howard University to postgraduate degrees from Oxford University, a Rhodes Scholar, and if I'm correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're getting your PhD as we speak right now.
Yes.
From the University of California at Berkeley, so absolutely impressive. And I would say that your family members who are present here today must be amazingly proud of your accomplishments. And it seems like this is just the beginning, for you and the trajectory that you have set forth for yourself or others. I think this is the beginning of Carla Peterson's, upward trajectory. So absolutely very impressive. Absolutely impressive. A couple things. One is we had a conversation in Los Angeles with regards to energy efficiency. Obviously, it's an issue that's very critical to me with regards to its order. On the loading order, if you will, it's number one. Give me a few of your thoughts with regards to energy efficiency, what it means, obviously, with regards to jobs, employment. We talked about the whole issue of unemployment. We talked about the issue of chronic unemployment, if you will, particularly in communities of color, not those just who've most immediately been severely impacted by folks, men and women, particularly from the building trades, but give me your thoughts on energy efficiency.
Well, first, thank you for your intention and concern about energy efficiency. It remains an important issue to me, as it is number one in the loading order. And I think energy efficiency for the state of California is a real win-win. By investing in energy efficiency, we both save consumers money and allow more money to spend on other issues. And we also create jobs. I was really heartened about a business meeting a month ago. We had a number of people come in to talk about how they were unemployed, but now they're employed doing energy efficiency retrofits. And they were able to do that because of the money provided through the ARA program. Through the ARA program, we had the opportunity to stimulate job growth in that sector, as well as engage in larger retrofits. And I really think this is a space we need to continue to advance in.
The ARA program, as you know, will eventually sunset, and
Yes.
there will be no resources or limited resources, obviously, with regards to energy efficiency and leveraging private equity money. And I believe there's billions of dollars on the sidelines that we can leverage, perhaps. And some of the questions or some of this line of thinking, it would be more apropos with regards to commissioners or future commissioners of the PUC specifically, but obviously as a future appointee, a commission, I should say, the Energy Commission. I did enjoy my conversation with you on this issue with regards to energy efficiency. We agree on all the main strategic points and what it means for unemployment, reducing greenhouse gases, and obviously the whole issue of national security and lessening our dependency on foreign fossil fuels. Let me broach another subject that Senator Dutton talked about. I believe that my staff had contacted your staff as well with regards to biomethane and RPS. I know in October 18th of last year, I sent you a letter to you and to the Vice Chair, Mr. James Boyd. One of the issues, obviously, when we had our meeting last year in December in downtown Los Angeles, we were the heart center of Los Angeles, which is obviously the vast majority, if not almost all my constituents. Their utility is a POU. In this case, it's LADWP. And LADWP obviously has made a lot of investments with regards to biomethane. And one of the issues that is very critical to me is the issue of keeping the rates low for the ratepayers. Particularly in this economy, especially for working class folks and those folks who are chronically unemployed because of this draconian budget crisis and economic crisis. Keeping rates low for ratepayers is very critical for me, and LADWP and the ratepayers, and satisfying them also too. Give me some of your thoughts on, I won't get into the buckets, 1, 2, or 3 with specificity, but more so the issue of stakeholders and making sure all stakeholders' voices and opinions are strongly held and accepted and, in fact, encouraged.
Well, thank you for your question. As the public member, I think public input and buy-in is key, and that includes input from our various utilities. I'm very cognizant of the amount of time it takes to execute contracts, and so we've had extensive communications with the utilities as they're identifying what type of renewables to procure. I agree. I'm also concerned with rates, but in particular, my focus is on maximizing ratepayer value. Are ratepayers getting what they paid for? And as such, we're earnestly evaluating all resources, including biomethane, to make sure they meet the intent, the varied intent of the RPS.
Okay, and I'd like to actually have your commitment, because I want on the record to make sure that all stakeholders are involved in this process, and they have your ear also too.
All stakeholders are involved and will continue to be involved, and I'm supportive of their involvement.
All right, thank you.
May I follow up on that? I'm sorry.
No, please, Mr.
Thank you. I'd like to just follow up on the Senator De Leon's and Senator Dutton's last line of questioning without getting too far into the weeds on this on the biomethane issue. It's because it's very complicated. Suffice it to say that there have been contracts let on this subject between California utilities and biomethane producers, and there is also a policy question, if you will, as to whether or not going forward biomethane should appropriately count as part of the RPS requirement. Do you believe that it's an appropriate role for the legislature and the administration and the governor, but the legislature to weigh in and decide on what the policy should be vis-a-vis biomethane going forward?
Yes, I think it is appropriate for the legislature to weigh in. As an agency, what we do is implement the laws set out by the legislature, and this is a topic on which we've had numerous conversations with legislative staff and legislators, and we look forward to working with you more on this issue.
Just thinking how deep I want to go into this subject here. Yeah. Well, again, I'm not. I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I don't want to. But we are making a public record here. I just think it's important that if it's appropriate for the legislature to make the policy call going forward as to what the appropriate weight, if you will, or relevance of this particular energy source or energy source is to the renewable standard, that belongs with the legislature. I assume then that the Energy Commission itself doesn't see it as its role to address those policy issues going forward.
The Energy Commission has a role in implementing the RPS and determining eligibility requirements for the resources. And whatever the action the legislature decides to take, there is work that needs to be done on the Commission to make sure that the program functions effectively. But again, similarly, there's work that needs to be done at other agencies. as the authors of the RPS, I think it's completely within your purview to revisit this issue, if so desired.
Okay. Let's hear from witnesses in support of the nominee. Please.
Hi.
We have several mics. We have the mic here, and then we have a mic here. And for efficiency purposes, you can line up on either way. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, members, Justin Malone on behalf of the Distributed Wind Energy Association. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here to commend Ms. Peterman. It's refreshing and really exciting to see someone with her caliber work at the Commission, and we highly, highly recommend her confirmation.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman and Senators, Don Gilbert with Edelstein, Gilbert, Robeson, and Smith, representing Terra-Gen Power, large independent renewable developer. Terra-Gen is very supportive of Commissioner Peterman's nomination, and we urge you to recommend confirmation. I think her statement about her qualifications speaks for itself, and we think that those qualifications will be very important for implementing the 33% RPS. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Erin Niemela, representing both the Efficiency Council, which is a trade organization of 60 energy efficiency companies that provide products and services, and Large Scale Solar Association, which is a solar developers association representing 12 of the world's largest solar developers. The Efficiency Council strongly supports Ms. Peterman for all of the reasons already stated, her tremendous vision. And the Large Scale Solar Association also strongly supports her and specifically wants to bring out that the deliberations that the CEC is currently undertaking with regard to the implementation of the RPS are key for us and our companies. We think 75,000 to 85,000 jobs, mostly in counties like Kern, San Bernardino, Riverside, LA, are all dependent on the outcome of these conversations and whether or not the resources that we will provide with those new plants will be displaced by other out-of-state resources. So we appreciate the deliberations. Thank you
very much, Ms. Deamer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Senators. I'm Bob Raymer with the California Building Industry Association. We have had the opportunity to work with the Commissioner Peterman on a number of issues, and we're in strong support of this confirmation.
Thank you very much.
Mark Toney, Executive Director of TURN, the Utility Reform Network. TURN is very strongly in favor of this confirmation. I had the very good fortune of being able to recruit Carla Peterman to serve on the TURN board for 2 years. I have to say that from my experience, not only does she bring a great depth of knowledge and expertise, but she brings leadership, the kind of independent thought. And I got to tell you, she was not afraid to go toe-to-toe with TURN staff. And for better or worse, she still does that. Thank you.
Well said.
Steve Baker with Aaron Reed & Associates, representing Bright Source Energy, a large-scale thermal developer in support.
Thank you.
Laura Ettinson with the Natural Resources Defense Council. I'm the director of our California Energy Efficiency Policy, and we work with Carla Peterman on a number of issues at the Commission. We're strongly supportive of her confirmation.
Very good. Thank you. Testifying, please.
Hello, Mignon Marks, Executive Director of the California Solar Energy Industries Association. We represent the primarily installation contractor portion of the solar industry. We strongly support Carla Peterman's appointment to the Energy Commission or confirmation and urge you to support her. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Erica Root on behalf of EDP Renewables, here to support Ms. Peterman.
Thank you for coming.
Juanita Martinez with Smith Watson Martinez on behalf of General Motors, Linde North America, and Iberdrola Renewables in support.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez.
Hi, Christopher Mertens on behalf of Bloom Energy and Sunrun Inc., both in support of Ms. Peterman's confirmation.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, members. Brian White, Sun Edison. We are a large solar energy provider, both large-scale and distributed generation projects, and our global headquarters now here located in California. Very much support Ms. Peterman and look forward to working with her and other members of the Commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, afternoon, Senator. Tim O'Connor, Environmental Defense Fund. The Energy Commission has a long-standing history of forward-thinking commissioners. Ms. Peterman fits right within that line. Thank you very much. We strongly support her.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members. Christopher Turnell here on behalf of CalSTAR in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eileen Tutt with the California Electric Transportation Coalition. We're looking at a future where electricity and transportation are very much linked, and we look forward very much and support Carla Peterman as a commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leonard Robinson. I'm president of Keep California Beautiful. We're a consortium of state, local government, and corporations. Our name is our mission statement, Keep California Beautiful, and we're in support of the confirmation of Carla Peterman to the California Energy Commission. Thank you.
Is there, just for curiosity, is there any organization that disagrees with your title?
The ones not from California, out of California, they hate us.
Thank you. Go.
Timothy Allen Simon, Commissioner, California Public Utilities Commission. It's an honor to follow the Enviro bro, Leonard Robinson, but I want to express my utmost admiration.
Get that down, Ina.
I want to express my utmost admiration and support for Commissioner Carla Peterman and commend Governor Brown on this brilliant addition to our energy and transportation policy thinkers in this state.
Good to see you, Mr. Simon.
Good to see
Commissioner Simon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Johannes Escudero, Executive Director with the Coalition for Renewable Natural Gas, and on behalf of diversity of our membership, including companies in California and across advancing technology and anaerobic digestion and producers of biomethane, we're here to strongly support the appointment of Commissioner Peterman. Appreciate her engagement on the issue in the past, meeting with us and our members, and strong support. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Mike Robeson from Edelstein Gilbert Robeson Smith on behalf of the Bay Area Biosolids to Energy Project, and in support of Ms. Peterman's confirmation, and especially in support of her position on supporting commercializing new technologies. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Chairman, members, Rachel O'Brien, on behalf of the Union of Concerned Scientists, we hear in very strong support for all the reasons listed today and for her extensive knowledge and background. We hope for her speedy appointment.
Thank you very much. Are there other witnesses in support of the nomination? Are there any witnesses in opposition? I'm sorry, we have another supporter. Mr. White?
Sure.
Welcome, sir, please.
Mr. Chair, members, John White with the Center for Energy Efficiency and Renewable Technologies. We are in very strong support of Ms. Peterman's nomination. We think she's brought a breath of fresh air and new energy to the Commission. She's very accessible and fair, very knowledgeable and thoughtful. I would like to make a comment on the issue that was discussed earlier on the biomethane, if I may, since we're talking about it. Just in the case of this issue, I think it's a loophole with unintended consequences that now needs to be adjusted or closed by statute or regulation. But in the case of the City of Los Angeles, they have in their own backyard at the Department of Sanitation biomethane that they're not buying, and instead it's being sold to Sempra. So I think some of this is an out-of-state issue is we've revisited on REX, and I think, frankly, this is an area that with some unintended consequences. I think your point about the contracts that are already let being honored and respected, but from my understanding, there's nobody ever imagined this amount of compliance coming from this source.
I get it.
Okay, so I just think it's an issue that has a lot of dimensions, as was been discussed.
We raised the issue lightly today because it's been being talked about a lot, and I think my view is that at least going forward, it's a proper subject for the legislature to consider.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, Donna Brownsey on behalf of SEIA, the Solar Energy Industry Association. We're here to strongly support and endorse the candidacy and the appointment of Carla Peterman. We have found her to be a terrific board member. She brings, I would say, an electrifying intelligence as well as the absolute right demeanor of being open to all stakeholders, to really looking at the data, and to having in-depth discussions, I think, in order looking at outcome, but more importantly, looking at the strategic sort of ability of the state of California to do what we all want to do, which is to become energy independent. So thank you very much. And associate ourselves with the remarks of John White on the biogas and all the rest of that and from the others. Thanks, Mr. Chairman and members.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brownsey. Thank you to all the witnesses. Are there witnesses in opposition to the nomination? No witnesses in opposition. Good first hearing for 2012. And, many good comments, the ones that stick in my mind are Senator De Leon's introductory comments about Ms. Peterman and, how accomplished you are and your trajectory, and we're grateful that you've chosen public service.
It's an honor.
To put your talents to use. And then I also liked Mr. Tony's comments because you also have to be independent enough that you're willing to sometimes argue with your friends.
Indeed.
And that's true of all of us, and it's true of someone in your position as well. So I'm very proud to support and happy to support your nomination today.
Thank you, Senator.
We'll take a motion by Senator Dutton, and we'll call the roll.
Senators Alquist? Aye. Alquist, aye. DeLeon? Aye. DeLeon, aye. Fuller? Aye. Fuller, aye. Dutton? Aye. Dutton, aye. Steinberg?
Aye.
Steinberg, aye.
Doesn't get better than that. 5-0.
Thank you very much.
The nomination will move to the floor. We're aware of the one-year deadline, and we will take up your nomination in plenty of time. All right?
Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing even more of you going forward. This will not be the last time we interact. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterman. And thank you to your family, Mom and Dad especially. Okay. Very good. How you doing? You want to take a 5-minute break? We're going to take a 5-minute break.